Everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. It's time once again for the altered jewelry box, the altered box project of the month. So I've just got a brown paper sack, and I'm going to show you a technique I did a couple of years ago, where you turn a brown paper sack into a leather look. But this time I'm going to do it in a different color. I did it in brown last time, and I think this time I'm actually going to do it in white and see what happens. So I've just got a brown paper sack that I cut open. I cut it down the back, and then I cut the bottom of it off. And now I crinkled it up, crinkled it all up to give it the wrinkled texture. And now I'm going to put a layer of white acrylic paint on the whole thing. Alright, so I'm going to get that started and I'll be back. Alright, one of the things I should have said is this is the next smaller size from the grocery bag. And I did cut it down at a little less than half and half. I'm going to cover the top and the bottom of the jewelry box. Alright, so I just used the Americana satin in cotton ball, but any acrylic paint will work. So I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'm going to re-crinkle it. Alright, now as it dries, it will kind of soak into the paper a bit, so I will put another coat of the paint. Alright, just to give you an idea of kind of what it looks like so far though. Alright, so I'm going to put another coat and then I'll be back. Okay, I put a second coat and I've re-crinkled it back up. And now I'm just going to take some Distress ink and just wipe it across. If you don't have any Distress ink or any kind of ink pad really, you don't have to do this step. Or you could do it with some Inca Gold or some metallic luster. Would be really pretty too. Alright, so I'm just going to swap this across, and then I'm going to let it dry for just a second. And then I'm going to wipe, I don't want to say it back off, but I'm going to wipe back across it. So it'll kind of mute it back down. Alright, so it'll look like this. Alright. Alright, again we've got our box, and this time I've taken all of the hardware off, just to make it easier to cover. I've put all the hardware in a little Ziploc baggie so none of it gets lost. You can choose to leave the hinged side together if you want, without making it too much more difficult to cover with paper. Alright, I've just cut out a square a little larger than the lid. I want it larger enough to curve over the sides. Alright, and I'm just sticking it down with some decoupage. So what I need to do first is to clip the corners at an angle going in towards the lid. Doesn't have to be exact. Just like that. And then I can trim a little closer. At least on these two ends. Alright. Okay, I suggest starting at the back I've glued the piece to the surface, the front surface, the top surface. Alright, and then I just put glue on the paper and on the box. It will help it stick more easily or faster, or however you want to say it. Alright. Then, on these little corner pieces, just fold them over like that. Alright. And I'm going to trim and don't worry about where it sticks up a little bit. We'll trim that off again after it dries. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing on the sides and then on the front. If you do it this way, by the time you get to the front, your corners will be hidden on the side. If that makes any sense. Alright. Okay, I finished gluing it all down, and I've put the hardware back on. The reason why we didn't cover on the inside is because the box would definitely stick closed. It's still a little sticky right here on this side, and I'll have to trim that back just a little bit more. Alright, so now I've got some of these fabric leaves from the dollar store, or from, I think these all came from the dollar store. I'm trying to see if this one may be too stuck together, but I don't think it is. Alright, and then I've got some homemade flowers that I've made. Some, I don't know which ones I'm going to use, but these are just some lollipop top flowers with a button in the middle, made out of some crepe material. These are some rosettes. I've got some red roses. I'm not sure if I'll use those or not. And then I've got this pom-pom top flower that's made out of some trim, some loopy trim. Alright. So I'll heat my glue gun up, and I'll be right. Alright, I think I've worked out a little arrangement of how I want these. I'm just going to run some glue down the back side of the leaf, down the spine. I still want it to be loose. Absolutely love that glittered leaf. So pretty. So sparkly. I don't really want to cover up all of that leaf. Just hold that down for a second. Alright, see if I can fluff this up just a little bit. And of course squish it right back down. And let's see. Maybe this little rosette. I don't know about y'all, but I always have the hardest time with deciding on where I want my flowers. And fighting glue strings. Alright, I've just got a little button. Alright, you could definitely add more decorative buttons, or I'm not sure about this rose either. But it does need something, so. Alright. And I'll hold on. Alright, I've just got some more buttons. I'm going to add this one to the middle of this flower. I don't really want, but I do think it makes it look a little more fall festive. Alright, and then these two right here. Alright, I think that's going to do it. A pretty little fall jewelry box. Alright, I hope you like this. And I'll have another one for next month. I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.